Man, where to begin? First off, I just want to tip my hat to Montana for a great season. They have a lot of tradition as well, and we knew that with their experience level coming in that it was going to be a battle. I've got so much respect for Travis. We go way back in this game as part of the Mercer Island basketball family, and so as joyous as I am for our group, it's a little bittersweet there because he's one of the reasons I got into coaching, to pay it forward. I can't say enough about this group of Bobcats. To go through this journey and what we've gone through, starting last spring and starting to write this next chapter. The guys to my right and left here, believed that anything was possible, and that if we stuck to the process, that we could be playing our best basketball when it mattered most, and that's what we've seen this last week.
Matt Coulter, Skyline Sports. You guys played a couple of the best second halves I've ever seen at this tournament. How are you guys able to do that?
Well, I think our staff has done a really good job throughout the year of reading situations and being able to make some adjustments at the half. I think our players just have been able to execute those things and go out with a lot of confidence coming out of the locker room, and we've just continued to grow and try to get 1% better each day, and I don't know. The second halves that we had this week were special. 66 points in the second half against Weber. Someone told me it was a 41-9 run today. We talk about avalanche basketball and trying to create avalanches for our team, and that's what happened tonight. It just started to roll downhill, and the momentum swung our way, and we were able to keep it going.
Tyler, can you talk about there was the moment where you hit your second three? They had to call a timeout. You scored like 7 points in a row. What was that moment like, and also what's this moment like going back to the NCAA tournament?
Oh man, it's surreal. It just attests to the hard work that we put through the whole year, and then we got off to a slow start shooting, and we knew we just had to break it through, and in the second half we got it going, and then that kind of shifted the momentum, and once they called that timeout, we knew we just had to keep the foot on the gas, and we took it from there.
And Rob, how were you able to have such a sustained both individual and team effort during this tournament, and what does this moment feel like for you?
I guess trying to help my team win any way I can. It's a team game, and I feel like everyone, did that this whole week. We all been playing for each other, staying together, being boys, and it's just great. It's great to see the team success. Like Tyler said, it just doesn't feel real.
Parker Cotton with Boise Idaho Chronicle. Matt, could you take us through what seemed to be kind of your closing lineup of these two guys, John, Sam, and Eddie? Because it seemed like for a long time that was going to be the group that you were riding with, maybe out of necessity in some cases. But what did that group show you over the course of that second half that was going to be the group to bring this home?
Yeah, I thought they did a great job on both ends of the floor of executing. They were able to keep the ball in front. Got good length at the rim with John, and good length defending the three-point line when we were switching. And then he gave us a lot of threats offensively. And so again, like once it started rolling downhill, we weren't gonna make changes unless it was needed. If it's not broken, don't fix it. So I know we've been able to plug and play a lot of different lineups this year and find success. And once we got that thing clicking, kind of took off from there.
Ethan Becker, NBC Montana. Rob, last offseason, you had been in the transfer portal, and then when we talked last month, you said that you believe in Logie and the system. Just take us through your emotions, just when that final buzzer just sounded. Like, you threw that ball into the scoreboard. Like, that's how high
We got to get that
I knew it
thing back.
disappeared. I was like, where's it coming
We got to
out?
get it back.
I actually didn't know where it went. When I threw it, it just never came back. I didn't know where it went. But like I've been saying, this is unreal. Like to believe, come back. We're ranked 7th. We weren't predicted to do this, and just to show everybody that we're here. And believing in coaches. That's the biggest thing. His philosophies work, and
I'm Grace Lawrence, Montana Sports. Tyler, we sat down a few weeks ago. You said 3 games, 3 days for the squad to do it. You made the decision to come back as well with the new, the change in the culture and everything. Why was this team able to do that?
Just the belief. The belief our coaches had in us, and then the belief that we had in each other. I think all year we were saying we just got to peak at the right time, and I think we got good momentum going in, starting at our win at Idaho, and then carried it over. Thought we had a great game at Eastern, and then Weber State, and then we've carried it over, and got us through.
Coach, can you also talk about this run in March? Like you were saying, Idaho, overtime at Eastern, beating Weber back-to-back in these final 2 games. Why is this team built for March?
Well, I think a huge credit goes to the players for listening to the messages throughout the year. We had some tough losses. It was a little bit of a roller coaster at times, but we focused a lot more on the process than we did the results at that time, because ultimately, it really does come down to this week, in this conference, and so we just kept our eyes forward and stayed right here, right in the moment. These guys were extremely coachable, and allowed us as coaches, Coach Scholl, Coach Payne, Coach Smith, those guys have poured into this process, and that's really hard to do when you're not getting the results. And so really proud of everybody's attitude. We talk about that all the time, and I think that's what carried us through those valleys to get to this peak.
And Coach Andrew Howell, Skyline Sports, can you talk about just what Rob has meant to the team in this year, in your first year? I mean, making the decision to come back, being a leader all season, then having a performance like that in the title game.
Yeah, I mean, he has set the standard for our culture when it comes to work ethic. He's a guy that we introduced some concepts to in the off season to help him grow his game, and he poured himself into it to improve. He has set the standard for competitive spirit and what that looks like, not just in games but in practices, and so he has really been a leader in so many different ways that make teams successful. And then to a lot of our guys' credit, they jumped on board and took on that identity, and we had guys like Tyler, like Sam, that took the next steps in their development. Got tougher, got tighter, got better as leaders, and then a lot of the new guys that came in and believed in what had been done here in the past, followed their lead.
Matt, a couple injuries in this tournament to Eddie, Brian today, and John today. Do you have any kind of initial assessment of what those are or their availability for next week?
No, not yet. I haven't heard anything, but they're all smiling right now. So,
in which case, can you speak to their separate performances throughout these 3 days? Because in different spots, they all come up really huge for you.
Yeah, I mean, I think Brian had 25 on Monday against Weber. He's another guy that attitude has been everything. Obviously, he and I go back. He came with me from Point Loma, and we started out terrifically well, and then went through a little bit of a slump, and was able to persevere through that and bounce back when it was most important. And John Olmsted, you can't say enough about in terms of his attitude. He's one of the most selfless teammates I've ever been around, while still believing that an opportunity will come without a guarantee that it would. And because of that, in his process, when the opportunity came, he's ranked the bell time and time again. I mean, I just looked at the stat sheet and tapped Tyler. He had 16 points and 5 rebounds in the Big Sky Championship game. I mean, that's attitude in a nutshell. And then Sam, again, he's a guy that we had a lot of belief in right when we got here. He does so many different things well, but he hadn't really broken through some of the things that were holding him back, and his mental growth in terms of, you know, believing in himself and understanding that, like, the most important thing is that your coach believes in you. Like, if I want you to shoot, you should probably shoot, you know, and so he just finally, you know, kind of broke through that wall. And you know, Jed Miller's another guy, Chica's another guy. We've got Jaden Garon stepped up at different points. I mean, everybody has played a role in this, and that's what makes it so special when you're part of something bigger than yourself.
Greg Rockout, Champion Sports. Matt, just curious if you have a thought on where you might land seeding-wise in terms of the NCAA tournament. Probably not thinking that far ahead yet, and how you know, try to transition. You know,
Yeah.
take this momentum forward.
Well, we're going to celebrate tonight, and you know, I've been a part of a couple of these deals when I was an assistant at Lehigh, and been a part of the playing experience in Dayton. I've been a part of playing a #1 overall seed in Kansas, and so you know, we know what each of those experiences look like. Coach Scholl's been a part of long NCAA tournament runs, and so you know, we'll turn that page tomorrow and you know, on Sunday and go from there.
John Blanchett from the Spokane. Matt, how about your process here? What, you know, on a personal level, on the court you mentioned a little bit of this amongst the kids at Whitworth and Point Loma. How are you feeling about the journey?
Well, you know, I got into coaching to pay it forward because my family was a basketball family, and that set the blueprint for, you know, what I believed this should be about. I've been fortunate to be a part of programs at Lehigh and Whitworth and Point Loma, and even Kent State for a year that really had a culture about that. You know, I'm a product of that, and all the players that I've coached at those places, and in particular, you know, the guys at Lehigh have helped me, you know, crack into a head coaching position at a young age at Whitworth, and then those Whitworth guys. You know, they're all part of this, and you know, I talk to those guys a lot. They've been texting me, you know, throughout this year and throughout, you know, this week, and a couple of them were here today. It's really, really special, and that's what it's about at the end of the day. It's about relationships, and you know, I'm so proud of our basketball family, and these guys to my right and left are a part of that for life, and it's just special.
Brooks Nuanez, Skyline Sports. Robert, I wanted to ask you, you were so intentional about encouraging your team to not celebrate after each win throughout this tournament. Can you talk about how that mentality impacted the run you guys just made?
I just think it's understanding that, you know, we're not done. You know, the job wasn't finished. And understanding that, just taking it one at a time. I feel like, you know, that helped us, you know, focus on, you know, the next game at hand.
And Matt, you mentioned, you know, been on staffs that have gone to the NCAA tournament. You've been to tournament in different divisions. Compare, contrast, and just your emotions right now, going back to the dance, but first time to the big dance as a head coach.
It's different when you're in a position of leadership. To be in this position, you know, takes a lot of what I mentioned earlier, all the people and players and staffs that have been a part of this. But at the same token, you got to put yourself out there quite a bit in this role. When you take over a program like Montana State, and you take over, you've got, you know, 5 scholarship players, 4 scholarship players on May 1st. There's a lot of yourself that you've got to put out there, and so that makes it really, really special to have young men like this believe in you. I think ultimately, having people believe in you is special. Whether you're a player and it's a coach's belief, or you're a coach and it's players believing, it's really special when that comes together. And so this one certainly takes the cake, you know, in terms of that regard, just the scale of it. But all those experiences that led up to this felt just as joyous because of the journeys we were on and the people that we were with.
Robert and Tyler, you've been to the NCAA tournament before, once or twice. What do you remember most about those experiences, and what are you most looking forward to as you get set to go again?
You know, just really, you know, soaking in, you know, the first couple days of, you know, seeing our name get called, and then, you know, getting to work, whether that's, you know, watching film or whatever it is, whatever the coaches have us do, you know, just soaking it in and locking in and staying present. You know, I think the biggest thing is staying in the moment, because this is a pretty special thing to be able to do. So staying in the moment, I think, is the biggest thing.
I talked about it a little bit before. You know, it's an out of body experience. You know, and in a moment you kind of don't understand it. So I would, you know, really Tyler, just have to be present. You know, go through it. You got to go through it and then get